Welcome to Dying to Know, where we open up about everything that comes with losing a loved one.
Because the only thing that's worse than death is not being able to talk about it.
We're your Bereavement Babes, Leah and Rachel, and today we'll be recapping our interview.
Hey, Leah.
Hey.
Nice to see you again. I like that we're doing this right after like a fresh interview while everything's still like fresh in our heads.
Yes.
And kind of dedicating an episode to recap to really give it the love that it deserves.
Yeah, because it definitely was a lot. We'd got a lot of gems dropped in that
really
episode.
Did.
So I want to digest them with you.
Yes. What would you like to dive into first?
Well, I really thought it was so creative how Theresa told her mom she was expecting a poem.
I know. I'm like, damn, I don't even know if I could write a poem that would make sense anymore.
I wonder if she has like an English background. Like, was this a haiku? Was it like, did it rhyme? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I want to know.
No, I thought that was so cute, especially how she's like, at first they didn't know who was coming from, and like at the end the hint was like, it's from your grandbaby, your future grandbaby.
I thought that was so sweet and endearing, and also highlighted her mom and hers relationship. Like, you just weren't gonna call and send a picture of like a pregnancy test. Like, you took the time to write something out,
to
and
really
be creative to really make it special. So I really enjoyed hearing that.
And I think overall, because I feel like, not that our stories aren't special, but it's just like when you get to bring someone else into the mixture, and like how you said before, like we've been nervous about doing interviews and bringing other people. It's like learning how special her story was, or how many similarities, or how things like fell into place properly. Like, or magically, I feel like almost like listening to other people's stories has just really opened up so many horizons of just like, wow, like everyone does have these special moments, even though like it's going through something hard.
No, you're right. Because even during the interview, you were even pointing out the timing of everything. Like, it was just crazy how alignment, and, you know, during like her mom's end of her life and then the beginning of a new child's life, like
both being in the hospital.
Yeah, at the same time when she gave birth. And then she said like when she found out she was pregnant, it was like close to her mom's birthday or something. Like, it just... And then 9 months with him, and then she like knew about the first birthday. So it just felt like the timing of everything. And even sharing that her partner had, you know, unfortunately lost the job, or laid off a job, but had the time to stay home with their child, you know?
She could heal in her way, in her process, and nothing was like forced, or like it helped her like, I guess, grieve properly.
Exactly.
Or get to like really grieve and discover the way she needed to grieve and the way she needed to heal.
Yeah, or how it just space was created. You know what I mean? Like, you had no idea that was coming, but these things were all in alignment. So grateful that, you know, that her mom had that time with her son, and then that they got to share in those moments. Like, I love to hear about the FaceTimes that they were having, like just watching TV. I'm like, oh damn, I do that with my mom, or something I do with my friends, you know?
No, and I feel like this came a lot from when we interviewed our moms for our like last season's episode.
Yes.
Which also I realized full circle, that episode was dedicated to Theresa's mom. And I feel like we learned from interviewing our moms like their strength. So I feel like also hearing Theresa's journey of like when she's like, okay, like I'm a mom still.
Yes.
Like I need to like pick myself up, and I need to like make sure I'm doing my mom stuff. And I feel like it was really nice to hear like the strength that moms carry with them.
Exactly,
and just like how strong they are as people when you're going through the hardest moments of life. Because we talk about a lot how like debilitating it was when we first lost our dads, and I still like feel like I owe my parents so much more, knowing that they both went through like parent losses, and I was probably such an annoying kid, and like they just had to like pick themselves up and be like, okay, like I'm a parent, but we still need to like do this. So I feel like hearing that strength felt really special.
Yeah, that's definitely her superpower.
Yes.
I also wrote down like one of her other superpowers were what is it? She's efficient, because she had the first birthday and baptism. I was like, how did you do 2 major events? And I think that also took place like, was it a month later?
It was, I think, like a month, 2 months later.
It was pretty soon afterwards that she like was able to like bury herself into that and be so efficient. And I know she said she really tapped into her mom like superpower after losing her mom. And I'm like,
100%.
Girl, you got strength and you're efficient.
Yes, efficient. Those checklists. The checklist.
And I did not know the checklist was an Aries thing. I was like, oh, is this the Aries strength? The fire in you?
I don't know, because I know Virgos do be having their checklist too and love their list.
All right,
but I just feel like maybe it's like the fire emotion of like scraping something off a list that feels so like relieving. And I just feel like it's the motivation behind something. Like the motivation to be able to cross something off a list just felt so like motivational at times. And it was like I just needed to see things like written out for me to keep going. So I don't know what Aries part that taps into, but it definitely was something much needed to keep going.
No,
And that birthday party was amazing.
Oh, really?
It was.
That's good though. I was very impressed. I'm like, 2 major events.
Yeah,
that's insane. Okay, so I found some alignment in Theresa's story, even though she lost her mom and I lost my dad and I wasn't a parent at all. But she had shared about like feeling guilty in events, and that I really share in that until this day. Like, you want to celebrate yourself or other people, but you feel like there's still a missing piece.
Yeah,
and you want that person to be there physically, even though that we know her mom is existing in the spiritual world and always be looking over her and her family, but you miss that, like, damn, where's my mom? All these familiar faces. And I know now in my own life, when I experience different events, I'm always going like, damn, I wish my dad was here, to see this in a different way.
No, and I feel like that's something that we haven't really tapped into at all in these past couple seasons, is that feeling of guilt. Because it's guilty, and then sometimes it feels like a bad thing, or sometimes, I guess I don't know how to describe it without saying guilty. But there are those moments where like people are trying so hard around you, and like you're trying to keep going, but like there's still that guilt that one person that you really need isn't there. Yeah. So I feel like it was a nice and refreshing thing to hear that everyone kind of goes through it, and you do have those really, really hard moments where you just want that one person there.
Exactly. That felt really real, because like she said, people do surround you, and she had a great support system and continues to have that support system, but
there's nothing like that certain love.
It's just not the same.
And we appreciate everyone around us so much. But sometimes you need that certain way of life.
So I know Theresa spoke about her coping mechanisms being around her son and with her son.
Yes.
And I think what also like pulled on my heartstrings was her saying that she didn't want to be a sad mom.
Oh my God, that is what almost got me. I think that was the hardest thing to hear. Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't have any children, so I didn't like feel it because I'm not nurturing and raising a human being, but to know that, like, I don't want to be around, like, be the sad girl at the party or, like, around people that you don't want to be invited. Like, I know what that feels like because you're carrying the weight of your grief.
No, 1,000%. Because, again, how you say, or, like, I've heard people, like, I don't want grief to be the only thing I have, or I just don't, I didn't want to be the girl, like, with the sick dad, or I didn't want to be the girl with, like, the dead parent. So I feel like when she said that, like, I didn't want to be a sad mom, and, like, also just tying into, like, that she wants, like, what she wants Dom to get is that, like, to be kind. And it just felt like, it felt so emotional. And it's just like, also her face, like, while she was saying it, like, you could tell that she meant it from every inch of her heart, that she just wants him to have this happy mom, like, no matter what. And I feel like seeing her, like, draw the strength from that was just so motivating.
It was,
to, like, keep going. And honestly, just so motivating to, like, keep your smile on. Like, you mean something to everyone. Like, your energy transfers to everyone, that I feel like it spoke more than just it being her son, but it's something that you can take with you everywhere.
Absolutely. Like, you know how they say, like, animals and kids can, like, sense things? Yes. So, like, if a kid or an animal doesn't like you, then you know. Yeah. So I guess with her being a mom and, like, she doesn't want her son to pick up on the sad, energy.
No, 100%.
And it's a way for her to show up, not only for herself, but then for her son as well. You know what I mean?
Or it made me feel like, I don't want to be the sad sister, the mean sister. Like, I feel like it really made me want to, like, relook at how I come and approach things.
Yeah. But also to be self-aware of that, too. You know what I mean? To be like, I am in my own grief, but I'm also, like, cognizant that someone is watching my every move.
No, and it takes a lot to realize that. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's, like, just how you come at people. Like, you don't realize, and for her to, I feel like, realize that so early, that she, like, sees his smile and, like, doesn't want to be sad for him. Yeah. Like, a really amazing self-awareness.
Exactly. And I love the part about, like, even therapy, when she was saying, well, he's going to need therapy because life be lifing. I'm like,
but he won't be saying that it was because of his sad mom.
Yes, like, he will not be in there because of a sad mom. It's just because life is a life. Yes. So that was really dope, too.
No, that was such a beautiful sentiment.
Yes. But I love her ending piece about her advice, especially about taking care of yourself. Yes. Because I am all into self-care. Yes. And I think self-care is non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. And I think at times I felt guilty for, like, I took long to, like, do my makeup or figure out what I was going to wear. But, like, when you look good, you feel good. Yeah. And she's right. Like, sometimes it's just a shower. Sometimes it's a hair appointment. And I'm never mad about the money I spend on myself. You're never
worth it. No one is ever going to treat you as good as you treat yourself.
So I thought that was really beautiful.
Yes. Yeah. And no, the second piece, too, which... Why am I? Oh,
yes.
The second.
This is the one you struggle with. That's why you couldn't remember it.
No, of reaching out. I feel like that has 100%. I, like, refuse to believe I can't do anything on my own. Like, I refuse to believe it. So I feel like that's one advice that I know I need to take. And I feel like I've been trying to get better with people. I feel like through this grief process, I've learned that people are here for you. And like people do want to take care of you. And people, like, for me, I was scared that it made me look weak asking for help. So I feel like I had to get over that. And I feel like the more I've reached out when I'm at my low points, the better I've gotten through those low points. So I feel like that's one piece of advice I need to take and like implement more in my life. Yes. But I also thought that was a great piece of advice because sometimes it's the last thing you think of.
It is. And sometimes you need that reminder. Like you were saying, it's hard for you to think of it. And it's hard for me to ask for help too because I feel like no one's going to do it like you're going to do it either. Yeah. But you need that support system to surround you.
And I feel like that's how we connected because I remember not forcing you, but I remember like, are you sure, Leah? Are you sure you don't want to talk? I can talk. We can talk about nothing and listen. And I feel like that's how we connected about like, we don't talk about grief enough.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, it was so many great things that she said in this interview, and I hate to backtrack, but I just want to mention these two things too. I really loved how she used her faith, you know what I mean, to stay grounded during her grief. Like she spoke about, her spirituality and reading the Bible and kind of like what her mom instilled in her, what she still was going through.
I also love that it started with she just wanted to see her mom's handwriting. Yes. Which I feel like for me, it took me a while to like even look at stuff that reminded me of my dad. Like pictures were like, I couldn't. So I love that it started. She's like, I just wanted to read like what my mom wrote and see the handwritings and see her notes and then leading into like, let me read the Bible. Let me like understand it and like ground myself in faith.
It's like those little reminders of mom
and
still
how it
around. Yeah, and what she's instilling in Dominic too. Like she wants Dominic to have her kindness. I was like, oh my God.
I know, son.
But that was so beautiful. And to keep her spirit alive so he knows who his grandmother is, I just think is an excellent thing.
Yeah, and for it to just be kindness was so beautiful.
Kudos to Theresa, and I'm glad she came on the show and shared her story. It was really a good story.
No, it was amazing to hear, and it was a refreshing new like view on everything.
It was, yeah. It wasn't like a typical, story. Like I really enjoyed just hearing her relationship with her mom, outside of becoming a mom and then becoming one and, still being in that way. Yes. Today's episode is dedicated to Theresa's aunt, which was her mom's sister, Maria Elena Matheson. Again, we are your bereavement babes, Leah and Rachel, and we'll see you on the other side.